up, guys? It's Casey's Frog again. And sorry if it sounds windy, but it's my temperature gauge on my car says 108 right now. But my car is black, so it's probably a little harder than it should be. But it's brutal out here today. But today, we are talking about wrestling. We're talking wrestling. So, today, Triple H was officially named head of creative. So, that's quite interesting. That, and I know a lot of people was hoping for that. And here's the thing. The head of creative was Bruce Pritchard. Well, minus, that was Vince. It was the head of it, but no, directly below him was Bruce Pritchard. So, obviously, unless Bruce Pritchard's still in that spot, but Triple H has that Vince McMahon spot, then it's interesting if they pushed out Bruce Pritchard. And I don't think they should do that. They should take as many ideas from as many people as they can, and what sounds good, use them. But Triple H assembled a good team for NXT, and NXT had to compete against AEW. Yeah, AEW is a brand new startup company 3 years ago, but that was also their main show was Dynamite. That was their Monday Night Raw is Dynamite, and Rampage is, I wouldn't even say SmackDown, it's more like Sunday Night Heat. It should be their SmackDown, it should be also 2 hours, but that should be their SmackDown roster, and they have enough people to do a brand split like the WWE, because they have so much talent. You need to have this talent. That's AEW, but I'm sorry about that. That was AEW to talk about. But so Triple H was competing against AEW Dynamite. So, I mean, of course he was going to lose head to head. I mean, it was the brand new number 2 company versus the super indie that Triple H built. And people love the super indie black and gold NXT. Usually NXT will blow out any of the programs that the main rosters do. There's very hardly any time the main roster's pay-per-view would beat the NXT TakeOver pay-per-views. Even when I don't really sit down and watch NXT, you know, if you do, during the black and gold era, that it was actually going to be good, because you had Triple H, the head of that creative. That was his baby. I mean, look what they done when Triple H had people like Bo Dallas was their NXT champion. That was like, you know, big time main eventer for NXT. He goes to the main roster, he's a jabroni. He's a jobber. You know, even though, Bo Leave was his best thing he had. And then, here's another one. The Ascension was their dominant tag team. They were like almost unstoppable in NXT. In the main roster, they dressed them up like they dressed him up outrageously, and they just started feeding them to legends and beating them down, and to the point they're jobbers. I don't even think the Ascension even won the tag team championships. I don't think they lost so much momentum. It was ridiculous. I mean, that was a bad one. And then, God, there's many. God, I'm trying to remember that the pretty boy guy who, I think I'm not sure if he still works there or he works behind I think he works behind the scenes. The one that's like a model, and no, not Fandango, but the other guy. Can't really think of his name, but they treated him like a main eventer. He was almost the Shawn Michaels of NXT. He was a real good #1 contender. He could have won the NXT championship. He gets moved up, and he gets paired with Fandango. Tyler Breeze. There you go. I knew after a minute. Tyler Breeze was their Shawn Michaels. He gets moved up to the main roster. He gets tag team with Fandango because they're both dressed almost similar. So they're like, let's make them a tag team. Yeah, they got red hot at one point as a tag team, but they really hurt his run. The only real male character that they was red hot coming off from the NXT and was able to move to the main roster was Kevin Owens. I think that was their version of the best person that came out that survived and did the best was Kevin Owens. He had an awesome start. He came in as face in NXT, and the same night he turned heel. And it was it was perfect. Then I think it was like a year he was already to the main roster. He was ready. He really didn't need NXT, but I can understand when they want to test him out and then throw him in. Luckily, they didn't do that to AJ Styles. He finally, fit the WWE mold that he became a two-time WWE champion. Thank God. That would have been a travesty if he went to the main roster and just failed. So, God, it's countless how many people, like Keith Lee. That's another one. He should have been a main eventer. He should have probably the first night, this is an idea, he should have won the United States or the Intercontinental title, preferably the Intercontinental title. Let him be undefeated with the Intercontinental title at least for a year, maybe 2, so he can be dominant. And then, make him run for the belt, for the big belts. But Keith Lee got the shaft. I mean, they never pushed up the Undisputed Era. And I thought that was just, I think the Undisputed Era was smart enough not to move up, because they were seeing what was happening to the other people who did get moved up. That there were small wrestlers that Vince doesn't really like small wrestlers. I mean, shit. He really didn't like Daniel Bryan. The fans had to push to get Daniel Bryan to get over. I mean, he was our Stone Cold during that time. We were pushing him to the main event that he deserved. And he is a legend. He's still a wrestling legend. Bryan Danielson. But, and yeah, he was part of NXT, but he was part of the game show NXT. But, there's countless people who showed up and failed. Oh, EC3. EC3 should have been a freaking slam dunk. It should be like he was in TNA, or like how MJF is in AEW. And that's what scared me. If MJF was going to go to WWE under Vince's regime, I don't think he would have done any good. Because look what they did to EC3. Like I said, EC3 should have been a home run. And they let it slip through their fingers. Just really badly. Yeah, you had Braun Strowman. It was slightly in NXT. So that's probably the other guy who was really the most successful next to Kevin Owens. And he's not even there no more. He got released as well. So, trying to think, there's countless people who, mainly a lot of the women who got moved up had a better success rate than the male. That was weird. I mean, every 10 female, let's say maybe every 7 women to 1 guy who would survive the transfer from NXT to the main roster. And granted, some of them, those women was ready, minus freaking Nia Jax. She was horrible. I can understand they want some monster woman that'd be dominant. She's too green and sloppy, and she needed to be out of wrestling. But hopefully Triple H, he'd bring his vision to the main roster, and I feel like he's going to have people have a chance. I mean, there's countless people who they screwed over from NXT to the main roster. I really don't. I'll be right back. Sorry, I'm back. My phone was overheating. Right now it says it's 106 degrees. So I had to let it cool down. So, I mean, you could definitely see Triple H's, creative that was doing awesome in the NXT to main roster, what they would do with them. I mean, Adam Cole was smart enough to say, screw it, I'm gone. And I don't blame him. I mean, look what Vince wanted him to do. He wanted to be a manager. I'm sure Adam Cole still wanted to be wrestling. I mean, look what they did with Eli Drake. We liked LA Knight. I love LA Knight. He gets pushed to the main roster. He's Max Dupree. And it's like he's not even wrestling. He's a manager for a male modeling group. And now he's been cut from that thing. Hopefully they'll wait for a month or so, and they'll bring him back as either Eli Drake or LA Knight. I mean, he was doing great on NXT, but you know, there's some people like Cameron Grimes. I'm scared. I was scared if he gets pushed to the main roster, what they were going to do with him, because he was having a good run with NXT. I mean, shoot, look at what NXT did with Tyson Kidd before he got hurt. Tyson Kidd was having a good run in NXT, very good run, and before he got injured, and sadly, you know. And then it was weird when WWE releases Samoa Joe, even though at that time they were using him as a commentator. And he's at WrestleMania a couple years ago, he's wearing a damn poncho because it was raining at WrestleMania. A sad look, and then it gets released very shortly after that. And then Triple H is like, I'll sign you to NXT. He wins the NXT championship, and I don't know if he had a concussion or he got COVID, but he had to take a time off, and he was ready to go again. But they put the belt onto El Ciampa, and El Ciampa looks like he's floundering right now in Monday Night Raw. I mean, tonight, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see. I mean, it does give us a little bit of hope with Triple H being head of creative. They'll at least give him a chance. Like, Stephanie will at least give him a chance. Unlike Vince, he was like, oh, we hadn't went back up to 6 or 7 or 8 million in a month. So we must cut you down and move you. Luckily, that's not Vince anymore. I mean, but he might have a say-so still. We don't know. Hopefully he doesn't. I mean, I think Vince needs to let Stephanie and Nick Khan and the other people to run the show and see if they can prosper. I mean, I agree with Saul Monster. I don't think you're going to see any major big changes. You might see new angles, but as the quality of the product might not change immediately. And you gotta know that too, that quality ain't gonna change immediately, like as of tonight, just because he's the head of creative. But like I said before, I believe there is hope now. Hope not only because Vince ain't there overlooking the whole thing anymore, and now Triple H is head of creative. I feel more confident about that. I mean, he can bring what he brought to the black and gold NXT to the main roster. He can probably, like, oversee both Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and he's like, okay, this is good for Monday night. So then he goes over and do SmackDown in a few nights prior, and a few nights later on, and go over SmackDown's script. It's like, okay, this is good for SmackDown now. I'm hoping. I mean, and you know what? With the ad, with possibly TV14 coming back, I mean, it would be nice if that was one of the things that brings the WWE's product back. I mean, I'm shocked Vince is gone. I didn't think Vince was going to leave. I thought though he was going to lay low for a while, unless it was getting so bad that they had to really push him out. I guarantee you he did get pushed out, because Vince always loves the work. I think last time I heard he had a vacation. He still wanted to go back to work, because that's it mentality. That's it. What he does. He eats, breathes wrestling, or at least no. He eats, breathes, and sleeps WWE. He hates wrestling. He wish, like he would say Beyond Matt, if he was making movies. He was believing he was making movies back then. I mean, he probably had a little part in a couple movies, but he didn't start making movies until way later. I mean, those films are awful. The only one I actually like, it was The Condemned with Stone Cold. So, I hope that we are going to have a change for the better. It'll be interesting. So, I mean, without him as head of creative, I wouldn't have felt this way, but now he's been named head of creative. I do feel hope with Triple H. So, I'll talk to you guys later. See you. Bye.